love to you guys. Thank you for your continued support. We really do appreciate it. We could not bring this podcast to you guys without your support. So thank you again from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and get this thing rolling for you guys. So appreciate you joining in.
Yes.
All right, like you said, like Doc B said, we got a great topic. Again, welcome. Thank you for joining us. The topic today is love, celebrate, and make peace before it's too late.
Yes.
Let me say that again. Love,
Yes.
celebrate, and make peace before it's too late.
Yes.
All right, guys. In this powerful episode today, we're going to talk about celebrating and appreciating the life of your loved ones while there's still time. We've been hearing a lot lately about giving people their flowers while they're still here,
Yes.
and don't wait till they pass away before you celebrate their life. You know, we're going to explore how to build stronger relationship, heal those old wounds, especially making peace. That's what that's all about. And live intentionally so that you don't look back with any regrets. We're gonna do our best to have a couple testimonials that we have for you guys,
Yes.
and a couple little challenges that we're gonna give you guys. So hopefully, when you guys leave, you'll be inspired to love without limits, laugh more, and just create a legacy of joy and connection. Okay.
Yes.
So let's talk about it, because giving flowers now means more, than laying them down later. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, and today another one of my friends that happens to be about 2 years younger than me passed away. So over the weekend I went to two funerals, and at one time funerals were just where people were just older that was passing away. For some of you younger people may not understand that, but now it doesn't matter. They buried my nephew who was 41, and then I went to another funeral of a young lady that was 51 that passed away. So it's time for us to wake up and do what you have to do to celebrate people now instead of waiting until they pass away and then want to celebrate them. Okay? So the scripture that we have for today is James 4:14. This is taken from the New International Version. Why you do not even know what will happen tomorrow. In other words, you don't know the day or the hour when you may pass. That is the truth. What is your life? You are a mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes. So it's time for us all to wake up and be prepared and celebrate life now. Don't wait till later. And then those that you love, you want to celebrate them now instead of celebrating them and putting flowers on their plot or their grave.
All right, guys. First, we're gonna start with the wake up call. Okay,
Yes.
that's what we're gonna start with first.
Yes.
Why do we wait in the first place to celebrate people?
Okay, why do we wait people to celebrate? Why? Okay. M. Mason, thank you for joining us. Timothy Clark. Chastity, thank you for joining us. We have Bobby, thank you for joining us. We have Shirley Sanders, 2627, thank you guys for joining us. So, why do we wait? What do you think about that? Broker J3, I was just thinking about this the other day. Why is it that people wait until someone dies or is gone before they start saying all these wonderful things? You've been to a funeral before and they said all of these wonderful things about the people that are deceased. They get up at the funeral talking about how much they love them, how much they admire them, but that person never got an opportunity to hear any of it. Now, isn't that something?
Yeah, that's real talk, Doc B. I've seen it too many times. Folks standing over a casket saying, I wish I had told him how much I felt about him. But by then it's too late, And you know what's worse? Sometimes we even carry regret for years, wishing we had just made one phone call. Again, I've seen it so many times, after especially a mother or father has passed, you'll hear them, oh, my mom, I wish I was more closer with them. I wish I'd have, had a better relationship with them. Well, you know what? if they're alive right now,
yes,
pick up that phone and call them.
yes. And that's what you want to do. And as a child, my grandmother passed away when I was really young, and to this day, I wish that I had more time with her, and I wish I could have told her that I loved her. But that's what we're talking about today. Life is sometimes full of regrets, where we wish we should have did this or should have did that, and communicated with the people that we love. Thank you for the hearts. We appreciate you guys. Thank you, Op 5020. Thank you, Southside and Pyro Blaze. Thank you guys for joining us. But the truth is, life is unpredictable. It's just unpredictable. James 4:14 says, we are a mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes. So the intent is not for us to live forever. That's just not going to be. So why do we act like we have all the time in the world to fix broken relationships or to show someone some love?
And you know what, Doc B, and that's why today's conversation is so important, guys. We're challenging everybody that's listening to this podcast to stop waiting, okay? Celebrate life, while you're living, forgive while you still have time. Those old grudges, let them go.
Yeah.
And speak love while your loved ones can still hear it.
Yes. So don't hold on to that. That's not going to do either one of you any good. So some of the talking points that we want to emphasize are the power of the living tributes. Why should we celebrate people while they're alive instead of waiting for their funeral? You should do that because then they know how you feel, and you get an opportunity to say how you feel and to tell them that you love them. Mothers, tell your children that you love them. Children, tell your mothers that you love them. Your aunties, your uncles, your cousins. It doesn't take but a few seconds to say that I love you. Don't wait until they pass away and then you go into the funeral and saying, I love that person. Or, and then say, well, then you be feeling the regret. I should have told them exactly how I felt.
And one way you guys can do that, is host a living event. Some people might call it a living eulogy.
Yeah,
and that's where your family and friends get together and you share love and appreciation for those people that mean the most to you. Especially some of the matriarchs and patriarchs in the family. Don't wait for them to be gone to let them know how much you love them and how much them being here, keeping the family strong, meant to everybody.
Yeah. And what I want you guys to do, and then you can even have just a just because party. You don't have to have a party where it's fancy or anything. Just have a spade party or any kind of party where you're able to communicate with the ones that you love. Okay, guys, thank you, Chuck Hunt. Thank you for joining us. Four-Way Zay, thank you guys for joining us. Bobby, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you guys' support. Trey, thank you for joining us as well. So we want to challenge the listeners this evening to think of 3 people that you love. And I want you to reach out to those people as soon as this podcast is over with words of affirmation. Let them know how you feel about them and share that with them because you don't know the date or hour when that person may leave this world or you may leave this world. And a lot of people don't like to talk about this, but it's a part of life. Just like the scripture that I read to you a few minutes ago. It is a part of life. We're not designed to live forever. No one is going to live forever.
Exactly. And guys, next we're going to talk about living fully, how to celebrate life every day. But right now, we thank all of our viewers right now. We appreciate you guys joining us. Remember to tap the screen. We appreciate you guys that are tapping the screen. We appreciate the love. Send a gift. Let us know that you appreciate the podcast. Every little bit counts.
Yes, thank you guys.
And remember to go to the YouTube page and subscribe so you guys can catch all of the content. Okay, Doc B. When was the last time you did something just because it brought you joy?
Oh, now I'm the type of person, I do believe in meditation, and so I can just sit and just look out at the water, at the pond, and somehow, for some reason, the water brings me peace. So, some people will come and say, well, you're just sitting there just looking. That's peace for me. So I'm at a stage in my life where I like to do a lot of meditation, and that relaxes me. So whatever brings you joy, you need to do more of it. That's what I encourage everybody to do.
Oh, okay. I see. So when you're out there chilling, you don't have no agendas, none of that stuff going on.
No, nothing. Just relaxation. That's what it's all about. No agendas, no phone call, just me, the water, and peace. And that does something for my soul. It does. It's like it's nourishment. It feeds my soul.
Wow. I love that, Doc B. I love that so much. And see, that's what we're talking about today, guys. Living fully means making time for joy, creating memories, and not postponing your happiness.
Yes, oftentimes people postpone everything. So you want to see some signs that you're existing, not just living. You want to move through life on autopilot. You don't want to do that. You want to don't constantly wait for the right time to take a trip. A lot of people say, well, I don't have the money to take a trip, or I'm going to wait till December to take a trip. But pursue that dream if you want to. Take that trip if you want to. Or now is the time to repair that relationship. A lot of people say, well, I would work on that relationship in 2 months or at the family reunion. No, now is the time to to work on that relationship and repair it.
I feel that.
Yes. So if you feel like life is passing you by when you're focused on survival instead of purpose, okay, so those are things that you want to look for when you're trying to become a better version of you. Mending those relationships.
But you know what, Doc B? Too many people think living fully means big vacations or luxury things. But really, it's the small things, the everyday moments that really make life rich.
Yeah, that is so true. And like I said, I'm at a stage in my life where I appreciate peace and I want to be happy. The older you get, some of you young guys, people out there probably don't realize this, but the older you get, you want to be happy and you want peace. You cannot put a price tag on peace. So it's about taking time to laugh with your kids, your grandkids. I love when my grandkids coming over. Sitting on a porch with a spouse or calling a friend to just check in. I say this all the time. I want to just sit on my porch and have me a cup of coffee or something else and just wave to people when they come by. Those are the moments that matter to me.
Exactly. And you know what, guys? There are a few other practical ways to celebrate life every day. One thing that you can do is, like Doc B said earlier, is create a just because celebration.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be a birthday or anything. You know what? Just because it's Monday. You know how we feel about Monday. After we get off work.
Yeah.
It's a Monday. So why not celebrate? Don't always wait till the weekend because hey, we already realize every day is not guaranteed to you.
Yes, that's correct.
Host family dinners. When was the last time the family got together? Not just on a Sunday. Playing game nights. Right about now they got the college basketball games, the NBA getting ready to start the playoffs. Pick a game that you guys like and enjoy that together, or any other sport that you guys may like, or games you like to play. Hey, everybody love them spades, or Monopoly, whatever you guys like, make it spontaneous, do one of those spontaneous weekend getaways, and it can be a stay vacation. You don't have to go out of town. You can just go rent a hotel if you can do it. Go rent a hotel somewhere in town just to get away from home. Or you know what you can do? Go visit that relative.
Yeah, you can. You sure can. All right, Silky, Buggy, Hunting Wife 2222. Drew, thank you guys for joining us. Trey, thank you for joining us. Trinity Woman 621, thank you guys for joining us. Much love to you guys. Thank you guys for your continued support and being a part of the J&B family. We really appreciate your support. Now, some of the other practical ways that you can celebrate life. That's what we're talking about, celebrating life daily, not just for getaways where you got to spend a lot of money. There's inexpensive ways where you can celebrate life daily, but you can also document your joy. You can start what's called a gratitude journal. You can capture all of your daily wins and your joyful moments.
Yeah, and say yes more often. You know, especially you guys always saying no. Say yes more often. Stop waiting for the perfect time. You know, pursue that passion. You know, go after your dreams and live boldly. You know, don't live life with so many regrets. Don't wait till you're old and say, I wish I had done this, I wish I had done that. Go do it.
Yeah. They said life can be short, so we don't know, but we're here not for a long period of time. It's not designed for that, so you want to take advantage of that and live life to the fullest every single day. Now, let's discuss healing while you can. Make peace before it's too late. We talked about that, making peace with that family member that you haven't spoken to in a while, that you're mad at, that probably pissed you off, and it's been 5-6 years since you spoke to that person. It's now time to make peace.
Exactly, and on that note, Dr. B, I agree with you, because I can't lie to you guys. I have some family members that I don't always talk to, and actually, last time I talked to a couple of them, had a big argument. I don't mind admitting, I was in my feelings. I was going through some personal changes myself, and I kind of snapped on some family members. Now, that's unlike me, but it happened. And I haven't spoke to them in a while, Doc B, and I think I'm going to take our advice and actually reach out to my family members, let them know that I love them, and I apologize for my outbursts, Guys, we want to let you guys know, again, we always appreciate you guys for joining us. We thank you. For being a part of the J&B family.
Yes,
again, make sure you continue to tap the screen, send those gifts. We love those gifts.
Yes.
We appreciate you guys so much for everything that you do. We won't survive without you guys. This is an interactive podcast, so we enjoy when you guys chime in the chat box or the comment section and let us know or send us those messages that we love to read. Thank you guys so much.
Yes, we appreciate you guys. We really do. Well, now we're going to talk about forgiveness. It is one of the hardest things for people to do. A lot of people just don't want to forgive. They holding on to that hurt or how that person hurt them. But what's even harder is living with the regret of not making peace when you've had the chance. In other words, if you don't make peace with that person and that person passes away, then you may have to live with that regret of not making peace with that person. And believe me, it can weigh on you.
You know what, Doc B? That's so real. I've seen families torn apart over petty misunderstanding. But years go by, and then one day, someone's gone. And all that's left is, I wish I had.
Yeah, that is true. And I didn't mention this earlier, but sometimes once the matriarch passes away or the patriarch passes away in the family, you don't tend to have those family gatherings like you used to. And I miss that because my family don't get together like we used to. But we've made a commitment to try to spend more time with each other, to try to do something at least once a month. And after the recent death where several people passed away that we knew, we all, 5 of us came together and said, we need to do more because life is not promised. So we're going to go back to forgiveness. Now, why do we delay forgiveness? Why do people say, well, hey, I'm not going to forgive that person? Sometimes they're just that pride and they're just stubborn. They just say, well, I'm not going to do it. She didn't forgive me, so I'm not going to forgive her, or she did this or she did that, or he did this or he did that. But you have to let that go sometime. And then there's also a fear of being rejected. They don't want to be rejected by the other person once they go to that person and say that they're sorry.
And you know what, Dr. B? That is so true. And then there's always that waiting for the right moment, which, you know what? It never comes. It never comes at all.
Never comes. So.
And sometimes we think about forgiving someone. It's about letting them off the hook, but really, it's about setting yourself free. You hear that all the time. You gotta forgive somebody. It's not really about forgiving them. It's about allowing yourself to be free from that bond of holding something against somebody else.
That is true. All right, Justin Goins, Michael, Big Kane, thank you guys for joining us. Bear, thank you for joining us. Big, we got a lot of people on this evening. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being a part of the J&B family.
Thank you so much. Keep tapping,
keep
guys.
Tapping. Keep tapping.
Keep
we love the hearts and we like the beams as well.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so
we appreciate it. So Matthew 5, chapter 5, 23 and 24 reminds us that before we bring our gifts to God, we should first go and reconcile with our brothers and our sisters. Forgiveness isn't just emotional, it's spiritual as well.
Exactly.
Yes.
And and there are some steps that you can take to initiate the healing. And that's what we're going to talk about right now. What steps do you take to initiate that healing? Well, first of all, you reach out first.
And you talked about doing that a few minutes ago.
That's the first thing you have to do. You have to reach out, make that call.
Yes.
And if you're a little nervous about making that phone call, but you got a lot of words to say and you don't want to get interrupted because you might get thrown off, write that letter. Send that message. And when I say letter, I mean that email. A lot of people ain't really write no more. But send that email or send that message. Even if it's been for years, it does not matter. You'll be surprised. Sometimes people are waiting for you to reach out because they don't know how to themselves. And second, acknowledge your own part. Just like I told you guys a few minutes ago. I was in my feelings with my family, so I snapped. I ain't gonna lie to you, I snapped. That ain't like me. So I don't mind admitting to I was wrong. I was in my feelings and I said some things that I probably should not have said. And you guys have to take responsibility, for your own actions. Be willing to apologize.
Yes, you have to.
And take that responsibility.
Even if you get shunned or if that person doesn't receive it, you could always say that you did your part. Okay, once you've done that, you also, next you want to release the outcome. In other words, you don't know how that person's going to react. Don't feel like if they are not receptive and they don't take it, let it go. You've done your part. Forgiveness is about releasing the burden. Even if the relationship isn't fully restored to what it used to be, you've done your part. You've made an attempt to repair the relationship.
Exactly. And let's talk about a real life testimony. It's a story of reconciliation and regret. Okay. We had a guest. Her name was Angela. She was a woman who reconciled with her estranged brother, somebody she hadn't seen in years, weeks before he passed away.
So after 10 years of silence, they had spoken in 10 years due to a misunderstanding. And everybody knows misunderstandings can happen for a lot of reasons. One of them is money. Angela took the first step to reconnect with her brother. Their relationship began to heal, but her brother passed away unexpectedly just 3 weeks later.
And her reflection was, if I had waited any longer, I'd be living, with the regret forever. And she felt like she was at peace because she chose to make amends while she still had a chance.
Yes, wow. Now that's a powerful testimony. So let's talk about love without limits. Building a legacy of connections.
Legacies isn't just, what you leave for people. A lot of times people think that I want to leave a legacy for my family. Sometimes it's about what you leave, in them. You know what I'm saying? Here's the example. Like there are some things that my grandmother taught my mother that she took with her that she passed down to us. Now it wasn't money, it wasn't monetary things, anything like that, but it was knowledge. You understand? Sometimes it was just certain ways about understanding people, how to love people, how to treat people, and so forth like that. That's very important.
Yeah. And so what my family does, I'm gonna give y'all an example of what we do. What we do is we try to have one event every year where the younger generation plans the event, because we're not going to live forever. So we want the younger generation to start having family gatherings, and they connect with each other. because we're getting older, and so we leave it to them to plan. Now it's important that they do that, because guess what, their children should know their cousins or their aunties or whatever. It's all about leaving that legacy for them so that they continue that tradition that you've started. That's very important. Okay,
Exactly.
guys. Say Gregory Marino, Thomas Ford. Thank you guys for joining us. Missy Wright. Hey, how are you doing today? Hey guys. Hey Stacy. Hi Soph. How you guys doing this evening? Thank you guys for joining us. Much love to you. We appreciate your support, guys.
All right, guy, that's good, Doc B.
Yeah.
Now, real talk, guys. The best legacy we can leave anybody is love. Okay, that's the best legacy that we can leave anybody.
Okay, so the question is, how do we build a legacy of love? Okay, first thing you want to be is be present. Spend quality time with family and friends. I just mentioned it a few minutes ago. Plan those events where you're spending quality time with your family and for friends. And I just talked about creating those traditions. Family game nights, Sunday dinners, holiday traditions that foster connection, so that your children can carry on those same traditions that you did, and they can pass it down, and it keeps going, because you want those family connections to continue when you're gone. That legacy.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And also what you can do is you can speak life into something. Affirm the strengths and dreams of those around you.
Yes, you can. And lastly, how do we refine how we celebrate people? How do you think we redefine how we celebrate people?
That's a good question, Doc B.
Well, why do we wait until someone is gone to give them flowers? Why do we wait? We shouldn't be waiting.
No, we shouldn't be waiting at all. In fact, I think that's one of the reasons why we're talking about it today, because as Doc B said, this is the second week where somebody that she went to school with passed away. And the older you get, you realize that more and more the people that you grew up with, some family members, especially some of the older ones, they're no longer with us. You ever wonder why, when you have your school reunion, you ever notice that that year 5 years after, it's still a bunch of people at that reunion.
Yeah.
10 years after, still a bunch of people. Then when you get to year 15 and 20, that number start decreasing.
Yes.
And when you get to 30, now it done got even shorter. And for some of us older folks, when you get to that 40-year mark, you realize now you're adding classes together, because you don't have enough people in one particular class to actually have that reunion.
Yes,
So
yes,
you have to start doing these things now. Don't wait till later when it's too late.
Yes.
We can't stress this enough, guys. We can't. Doc B, that's a real question that we have to sit with. Why not give flowers now? Guys, host a celebration where loved ones can hear how much they mean to you. That's how you leave no regrets.
That's exactly right. And it's not just older people that are passing away now. Like I said, my nephew was 41, so it's young people too. We just don't know the day. When it's your time to go, it's your time to go. It doesn't matter what your age is. So what can we do? You can host a Celebrate Life dinner. You don't need a special reason to have a dinner or a party or a cookout. It's getting ready to get warm. So you don't have to have a reason. Just do it. And also, you can record a personalized message for loved ones. In case something were to happen to you, they would have that message from you, so that they would know that they were loved.
Exactly. And you can all and right now, I'd like to encourage you guys that's listening to the podcast right now, write a letter of appreciation to someone that you love, whether it be your mom, dad, aunt, uncle, sister, brother,
children, yes.
Write that letter. Even if you have to write that letter and send it to them in a text, you don't have to worry about the email. just write that letter out and send it to them.
Yes.
You know, you'll be surprised how important that can be, guys.
Yeah, I just think it's important that you not wait till a person pass away to celebrate life. You should be celebrating life every single day. Every single day. So we're going to go back, and I have a reflection question for you guys. Who in your life needs to hear words of affirmation from you today? I mentioned it earlier about 3 people that you could contact once this podcast is over to say words of affirmation. What's one step you can take today to celebrate life and nurture relationships? What can you do? Remember, we talked about earlier, you doing your part. What can you do? You can't worry about the after effects or the outcome. As long as you do your part, you should be content. And you can say you tried, especially when it comes to repairing relationships.
And I promise you guys, you know, it'll make a world of a difference. You know, as Doc B said, you know, find those 3 people, you know, that really mean something to you, that you may have lost connection with,
Yes.
or that you just need to reach out to and just let them know that you love them. You know, right now I want to invite you guys, you know, all of our listeners, or in a later date, if you guys are watching the podcast at a later time, you know, I invite you guys to share your stories of reconciliation, forgiveness, and giving flowers while people are still here. That is very important. We can't say this enough. And right now, guys, you know, I'd like to ask you guys to, you know, if you guys have any comments or anything that you'd like to publicly appreciate any of your loved ones right here on the JMB Live Show, you know, put those comments in to let us know that, hey, I like to thank my mother for all the love she's shown me. I like to thank my kids for loving me so much. Right now, we have the floor open for you guys. Put it in the chat right now.
Okay, and while you guys are doing that, you know, my mother is deceased. So, you know, I wish I had my mother. You know, a lot of people can share this, they probably share the same thought. If we had our mothers, we would definitely share with our mothers how much we love them. See, sometimes you don't think about that until that person is gone. You know, but you should reach out to your, not just your mother, but to your children, any of your family members, your friends, and let them know that you love them, because you don't know when that person will no longer be here. So thank you, Dee. Thank you, T.I. Porter, for joining us. Thank you, Joseph De Niro. Thank you, Dietrich Holiday. Thank you guys for joining us. We do appreciate your support. We really do. Now, final thought. This is Psalms 90:12. Teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom. So in other words, every day we should get smarter and smarter. You should get wiser every single day and plan for the future.
And remember, guys, tomorrow is not promised. You know, every day that you wake up and have breath in your body, you know, is a day to be thankful for your life.
Yes.
You know, the time to love, the time to forgive, and the time to celebrate is right now.
Right now.
Right now. Now, again, we appreciate you guys that have joined us. Continue to tap the screen. Continue to send those gifts.
Yes,
you know,
thank you guys.
We love it. We appreciate it. Every little bit counts, and we thank you guys so much.
Yes, we do.
Now, guys, as always, we always encourage you guys to make sure you like the live podcast. Make sure you share it.
Yes.
You know, even when the podcast is over with, you guys share the live. Share it with your family. Share it with your friends. And if you don't know how to share it, all of our content is on our YouTube channel, Live with J&B on YouTube. So you guys can go over there, subscribe, like, and share, because I'm quite sure someone needs to hear this message to get today, guys. Okay.
Yes.
And we have a lot of good things coming, like with the promotion we was telling you guys before. We're super excited about it. Me and Doc B been putting it together. So once we get it together, we're gonna let you guys know opportunity to win some prize and gifts from J&B Live. We appreciate you so much. You know, while you're trying to navigate through your life transitions and, you know, just trying to empower your families and, you know, living life with purpose.
Yes. And if you have a topic that you would like for us to discuss on our podcast, please add it the comment section. You never know, we might discuss it next week or even Thursday. So just let us know what you're thinking. As Broker J3 just said, we appreciate you guys' support and thank you. Share this with a family member. You can even share this with one of those family members that you haven't spoken to, that one of the family members that you want that relationship to repair. You can share this podcast with them. And you don't even have to say a word. You can just share the podcast.
Share the podcast.
Yes,
and that way to get it going.
Yes.
And guys, we know a lot of you guys sometimes are on the go and you're moving and you don't have time to watch the live. So if you have a family member as well as yourself and that loves to listen to podcasts but don't have time to watch, especially while they're on the go or driving to work or so forth, you guys can follow us at J&B Live Podcast on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, Deezer, Podbean, Pandora, Spotify.
Everything.
We're on all of those podcast networks. Just look for J&B Live Podcast and you'll see me and Doc B. We appreciate you guys. Thank you for joining us.
So much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
And thank you again for joining J&B Live. We appreciate you guys. As always, I'm your boy, Broker J3.
And I'm Dr. V, guys.
And let's talk about it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.